Oh, look at that. My mic went ahead and muted itself again. Alright, guys. Welcome back. For anybody that's been here before, I am Beef. I'm going to be doing some casting. Right now, we are going to be casting round of 16 games coming out of Assembly Winter 2012. Right now, we do have a TVT between two Korean superstars. And here we go. On the left side, we do have, in the blue color, he is an absolute madman. He plays for Team SCV Life. He is Polt. On the right side, we do have a member of Team Slayers, the Korean Terran, Taeja. All right. So since this occurred about 3 months ago, both of these players have had quite a few things happen for them. Polt has generally become an absolute wrecking force within the community. He went on to have really strong success in events such as IPL 4 and Lone Star Clash, and even a pretty decent run in MLG Columbus. Taeja, on the other hand, actually left Team Slayers shortly after this tournament and was later picked up by Team Liquid. So Taeja actually playing over there in Korea under the blue banner of Liquid, and actually still, I believe, just advanced into Code S round of 16, about 2 weeks after, 2 weeks before I filmed this, that is. So yeah, both of these players having quite a bit of success after this tournament, and we'll see how things go right now. So we have a gas coming out early from Taeja, as opposed to Polt not having a gas, going with that one Rax right in the front. One Rax coming down right here for Taeja, leaving room for that early add-on. Kind of leads me to believe that there's going to be something like Reapers coming out. Something with an early gas right there. We'll see if the Tech Lab comes down. There's the Tech Lab. I would expect that to be a Reaper expand. But we'll go ahead and see. We do have a full wall off for Slayers, TSL.Polt right now. Full wall off for... Oh, look at that. Polt sees the Tech Lab, and he's going to be thinking probably the same thing as me. This might be something like a Reaper expand. There's the first Reaper coming out. Way to go, Beef. This is my... Well, it's not really my first cast, because I just casted like 7 games with my mic muted. But, you know, this is my first day of casting. So I'm kind of excited to have something like that happen where I actually know what I'm talking about. On the other hand, we do have a rather traditional build coming out, the One Rax Fast expansion for our Team SCV Life player. Going to be pushing out the SCVs with that first Marine. And we'll see. I would expect that he knows this Reaper's coming. But we'll see. I don't know. He hasn't positioned any Marines in any jump-up spots yet. This is where... right there or right here, I think, are typically the spots where you would see the Reaper jump up. So we'll see what happens. And Polt is not going to see this Reaper coming with vision from the Zelnaga Tower. Taeja being very careful about that. Taeja also going with double gas and going to be dropping a factory right after this. So we'll see what kind of play goes into. Honestly, to me, it seems like it could be something like a Cloak Banshee follow-up. So we'll see. The Reaper going to be making its way up onto the low ground here. It's going to see... Oh! Not going to see the expansion. 2 Marines in good position to deny that. Like I said, you have these other 2 Marines right here, trying to make sure that that Reaper gets absolutely no vision. So let's take a look at Taeja's vision. Taeja does not see anything. All that he saw was that one Rax. He's going to assume that might be a one Rax FE, but we'll see. 2 Reapers now being out for Taeja. He's going to be able to do quite a bit of damage to things like Marines. Reapers doing a lot of damage, being very effective against Marines, but they also die really, really fast. So we'll see what happens if he's able to push up and check for this expansion. In the meantime, we do have a Starport coming down on that Tech Lab for our Slayers player. Once again, you know what that means. It's Banshees. Cloak coming out, indicative by that double gas at the same time. Reactor going down onto the barracks. Can be able to use those extra minerals to pump out lots and lots of... Ooh, man, big engagement right there. Pump out lots and lots of Marines. That's what I was going for. So the Hellion that was produced by that factory coming across right there, going to lose the Hellion in exchange for 1 Marine. Both of the Reapers actually pretty heavily damaged. And let's see, did Taeja see that there's expansion? There's still no sight for an expansion. Drops a scan in the main. He's going to see both of those Barracks, that's what they're called. At the same time, if he had clicked on the gases, he's going to see that the gases were just taken, just getting up to about the 90 gas mark right now, and that is a very, very standard 1 racks fast expand into 3 racks. As soon as he gets the money, he's going to be starting to drop expansions on these 2 racks and probably start a factory at the same time. Third gas going up for our TSL.Polt. And at the same time, the expansion that was dropped in the main base for TSL, not sure if I pointed that out, sorry about that, actually floated down and is morphing into an orbital command center. So, because Polt has had a better economic opening, that's not a gas, silly beef, that's a factory. Gases are down here. Man, I'm dumb sometimes. So, because our Polt got... Oh, man, I really just lost my train of thought right there. Polt took the expansion first. He's got a slightly better economic opening, but we'll see if this Banshee is going to be able to do any damage. The first Banshee already over here, going to be doing a little bit of harassment. I don't think he's gotten any SCVs yet. These Marines do not have... They do have combat shield. What am I talking about? Marines do have combat shield already. So dropping a scan right there, trying to get that... trying to see if those Marines can get that Banshee, but unable to do so. Let's take a look at the units lost. Did end up killing 3 workers, so sorry about that, and 4 Marines in total. A couple of those Marines were from the front door push with the Reapers and the Hellion, but the turret is now already up, and so it's going to be able to do a little bit of poking and prodding, but nothing too much here. At the same time, the economy of TSL back home is going to be ramping up. At the same time, he is supply blocked, and we do see multiple barracks coming down, factory adding a reactor. But this Banshee harass really continuing. TSL doing an excellent job microing that Banshee with its cloak, but that energy is going to be running out in just a moment here. But overall, I would say that this has been some effective Banshee harass. This other Banshee did look like it made it home, I believe. Is that the same one? No, it's a brand new one. Here's the old one. So overall, you know, these Banshees are doing effectively very well. Getting that cloak off at the last possible second, but the vision does extend past the turret range. And yeah, Polt actually able to pick up that Banshee. So decent kills there. 4 workers and 7 Marines. But he does have 2 more Banshees left, both of them with decent amounts of energy. He's going to be continuing to get kills there. At home, we do have a reactor coming down for the starport. Going to be starting to build medevacs here, and at the same time, a lot of Marines. Both of these players going to be getting Stimpack already. I believe it's already done already done, along with combat shield. Oh, scan, and he is able to take out that Banshee. Great job by Polt. Polt does have a sizable Marine advantage on the other player, on TSL. It's going to be 27 versus 19. He already has 4 medevacs out, 2 of those right there, and 2 coming out, and this is going to be an extremely strong push. Choosing not to go for tanks right away is Polt. And as a result, he's going to have a much stronger push right here. Big stem up. Going to take out that bunker before it is salvaged. And yeah, tanks coming out for TSL, but not nearly fast enough. If Polt were to storm right up here, he would have a very good chance of just ending this game flat out right. Instead, Cloak Banshee's going to come in for a little bit of scouting information and try to do a little bit of damage, but if Polt were to scan, he would be able to stem up those Marines and take out that Banshee very easily. We'll see if he does indeed choose to do that. There's the stem, there's the scan, and that Banshee's gone. Okay, +1 being researched by both players. Combat shield finally coming out for TSL. So TSL opting to go for tanks before getting a little bit of the full upgrades for Marines, but those tanks are going to be very useful if he's able to make it to that stage right away. Siege mode not coming out just yet for Polt. Not sure if that's a mistake or if that's intentional. It is a relatively expensive upgrade at 100-100, but the time on it does not take that long, only about 80 seconds. So, +1, third command center, floating out for Polt. Polt's going to be going heavy economy right here. There's no third command center in sight for our SlayerS.Taeja. So if Polt is able to hold here, if Polt does not take any significant losses over the course of the next couple of minutes, that third base economy is going to come into play, and he is going to take a sizable advantage. Once again, no command center in sight that I can see here. Yeah, nothing in sight. There it is. Third command center finally being dropped, but that's going to be about a full 2.5, 3 minutes, something like that. for our SlayerS.Taeja. 100 in-game seconds. So yeah, 2.5 minutes with the orbital and the flight time, 3 minutes, something like that. But yeah, 3-base economy in full swing here for TSL.Polt. He is finally getting his siege tech that is nearly completed. Both players dropping an armory so that they continue their upgrades. We do have +1 armor coming out for both players, slightly ahead for TSL. TSL actually moving out with a relatively large army at this point. He does have 3 tanks, 63 marines with 5 medevacs. So that's about the same amount of everything as Polt, but he has slightly more of everything. So, kind of a hard way to say it. And big engagement right there. Both players sieging up, just Polt sieging up. The other tanks are being left at home. So it looked like TSL actually wanted to go out there and do a little bit of a hit squad. Move around with the highly mobile army and hope to be able to do some massive damage. The rest of the tanks were all left at home, whereas Polt did bring his tanks with him, and he was able to siege up so that he could take that high ground. Scan coming out from our SlayerS.Taeja right there, and TSL.Polt just going to be able to maintain a pretty good dominance of this high ground with those tanks because he's already up there. But TSL, with the superior tank numbers, is going to be trying to cut in. So we'll see. With this leapfrog siege tank ability, TSL is moving up quite nicely. And it looks like a big stim coming in here from Polt. Able to snipe off one of those tanks with minimal losses from the Marines. Probably lost about 4 Marines right there. Getting one of those tanks, very nice. Yeah, it's a big game of cat and mouse right here. TSL does end up using one of his medevacs, flying kind of errant path. It looks like he almost might lose a second one. Those medevacs are being pushed out there to try to get siege vision. Vision for siege tanks is not quite as far as their range. 13 range, and I believe only 10 or 11 vision. So if you're able to get something like a scan, or if you don't want to use the money from a scan, you can put a flying unit out there to provide additional vision to get maximum range out of your siege tank. At the same time, we do have a drop coming in from SlayerS.Taeja at the 3rd from Polt. Was deterred by a turret. Going to try at a second location, try to snipe the SCV building, the 4th command center. And at the same time, Polt unsieging and re-sieging. Uses 1 siege tank for about 8 Marines. Marines are eventually going to be cleaning up this drop over here. Minimal losses. Going to need to bring a new SCV to get that one down. But Polt has been operating on this 3-base economy for an exceptionally long time. Still just barely getting everything oriented over here for TSL. I honestly feel like there might have been a drop over there that I didn't see. Sorry about that if that is the case. Because I can't imagine that he didn't have that prepared. I almost want to go back and look, but I won't. These Marines from that 1 drop still doing a lot of work. And yeah, I think Polt's probably in a pretty commanding lead right now. Once again, getting that 4th command center up, already on 3-base for quite a while. He's got Terran Vehicle Upgrades 1 going, which I don't believe